Morning, everybody, from wherever you're watching us from virtually. Welcome to this amazing day that we have here today, right here at the heart of the NSE, where everything matters trading, money markets happens. And so we're so glad that you've joined us. For those of you who are streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, it will be very good for you to click on that share button, because what is about to happen today is something great that you want to watch. My name is Maina Shege, and I'm joined by my co-host right here, Bansri Patni, amazing. Yes, yes. And so we're going to just break down what we expect today, because I tell you, it's something that you need to listen through. Bansri, what do we have today?
So Maina, today is a very exciting day for us,
yes,
for two reasons.
Yes.
The first one, we're launching Investing Tuesdays webinar series.
Oh, Investing Tuesdays.
Yes,
yes. So what that means is that every other Tuesday, anybody who is watching and has been having questions about the NSE will be able to get all their answers, all their questions answered?
Exactly that.
Okay.
Exactly that, Maina. So we really hope our audiences are geared up for lots of learning on investing in the next couple of months.
Okay.
Yes.
So everybody should make a date every other Tuesday to ensure that you tune in, because anything that you have ever had, any question, demystifying the NSE will happen right here. Now let's go ahead. What other thing are we expecting today?
So, Maina, another exciting aspect of today, we are launching the chatbot. What is the chatbot? Ask
chatbot, please. I think I need to ask that question, because you know my viewers there, I'm representing them.
Yes.
They need to understand what is this chatbot. What is that all about?
Great. Yes. So the chatbot is a very interesting conversational platform that allows individuals like you and me to be able to operate a trading account. What does that mean? We can get our stock prices before going to a broker. We can buy and sell stocks. We can do fund transfers, and we can also monitor our portfolios, all at the touch of a button, Maina, all at the touch of a button.
Okay, so forgive my ignorance, because as I said, I represent many here.
Yes.
So you must have, first of all, of course, downloaded the application of the NSE, right?
Exactly.
So the chatbot is just a tool there to help you navigate through the app?
And that is it. It's a feature on the app which you can pose questions to. It reverts back to you, so you are well informed as you make decisions on investing.
Okay. So I think I will just break it down out to my guys here, right?
Please do.
Anybody who's watching.
Yes.
Please, if you haven't downloaded the NSE app, please do so, because once we launch it, you need to check it out. And whatever questions that you may be having, you have a guide. It's more like a guide to make it easy for you at a click of a button. You know, this is just demystifying the fact that, you know, trading is no longer something so huge that you have to walk to what big offices and, I don't know, open what accounts, and just making it easy, right?
And this is good at a time like this, where there's a lot of social distancing, and you can trade from the comfort of your house.
Okay.
What more can we ask for?
Nothing else?
Yes.
So let's go straight, because we have a program, and who is none other better to come and really open this particular session than, you know, when you see this logo behind me, he needs not much of an introduction. So I want at this juncture to invite the Chief Executive Officer, Geoffrey Odundo, Nairobi Securities Exchange. He's going to be coming here, and I know he's walking right here, to come and tell us and open the session up on exactly setting the pace on what we expect today. Karibu sana, Jeff Odundo.
Thank you very much, Maina and Bansri. Today is a great day. I'm happy to see that we have a wide audience who are following us on our Facebook and all our social media handles. My name is Jeff Odundo. I'm the CEO of the Nairobi Securities Exchange. As my colleagues have said, today is a great day for us. We are very happy that we are now reaching out to a majority of you, investors and new investors. And we're very happy that despite the challenges we face under these circumstances, you have taken time to really tune into the NSE links for purposes of this particular webinar today. So I'd like, first of all, to recognize our chief guests who are in the audience. We have Mr. Wycliffe Shamia, who is the acting CEO of the Capital Markets Authority, Mr. Paul Mwai, who is the chairman of the Kenya Association of Stockbrokers and Investment Banks, and also a director of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, Ms. Isis Nyong'o, who is a director of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, Ms. Rina Hicks, director of Faida Investment Bank. We have directors and staff of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, all who are following us virtually, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, and thank you for joining us once again. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all to the official launch of the Chatbot and our bi-weekly series dubbed Investing Tuesdays. We at the exchange, we are an exchange anchored on technology and innovation driven strategy, and today is a testament to our consideration of improving our business value by working on enhancing technological aspects of our products and services. The NSE is a proud partner of Chela Software to launch this trading application. The Chatbot is a conversational application for trading and other stock market related operations. This industry-centric approach will reduce the cost of individual brokers and also for providing real-time information to their investors. Brokers can now subscribe to the Chatbot to allow their customers operate their stock brokerage accounts, buy and sell their stocks, check on stock prices, view their portfolios and journal statements, and make fund transfers. So as my colleagues have said, it's a real interactive platform that will enable you carry out services right from the comfort of wherever you are. The Chatbot is an extensible platform and will continue evolving to offer more services to our investors. Some of the features that will be rolled out in the coming days include the opening of CDS accounts from the platform, real-time payments to and from brokers, and provide quick online resolution to customer queries. Conversational platforms offer round-the-clock availability, reduce the cost of service delivery, and greatly increase customer satisfaction. As we launch today, we are cognizant of the COVID-19 pandemic and seek to keep the markets efficient while encouraging our investors to maintain social distancing and trade from the comfort of their homes. The Chatbot will reduce visits to the stockbroking houses for inquiries, troubleshooting, and account information. There is no better time than this for a retail investor, especially the youth, to tap into the capital markets, as technological advances appeal to them, as well as ease the opening of CDS accounts. This is also in line with the NSE's agenda of financial inclusion, enabling more people to invest in the financial markets and secure the economic future. I think if you look at the recent past, especially last week, the NSE witnessed a very heavy trading week, just an testament that the markets are very attractive and investors are looking at the market more positively and continue to see very good discounts in the current market. The capital market landscape has evolved in ways far beyond, and today marks another milestone. The NSE has been the pioneer in innovations and is a model to other exchanges in Africa. Our key focus is on product uptake, market deepening, and sustaining business growth, cognizant of our role in supporting Vision 2030, the Big Four agenda, the Capital Markets Master Plan, and our strategic plan. Our diversified product offering today includes the equities market, where we continue to target to grow our listings, both on new issuances and additional sale of shares from the current listed issuances. We also have a bond market, where we have a keen focus now on green bonds, municipal bonds, and also continue to maintain our stronghold on government treasury bonds. We've also been able to launch Emakiba with 5 successful issuances last year, and the retail bond has offered unmatched returns at 10% tax-free to investors. And we're glad to say that we've seen a full maturity of this program without any major challenges. We've also established a derivatives market, and today we've traded over 1,400 contracts worth 50 million since last year's launch, and we are currently undertaking a campaign to encourage investors, especially our retail investors, through more education and product knowledge. We've also launched the Ibuka Platform, which is an incubation and acceleration program for companies that would like to list or tap into capital financing in the future. Today we have 24 companies and the pipeline is growing. We've also got a listed exchange-traded fund, the Absa Gold ETF, which this year has experienced a resounding turnover in excess of 8,000% in terms of activity. We've also seen a real estate investment trust issued in our market, which has greatly unlocked the current potential that we have in changing how we own our property assets in the country. Our data and information services and training services continue to offer strategic opportunity for universities, media, and our global data vendors to get financial data from our market. And finally, we've been able to launch a green bond that was listed both in Kenya and London, and we'll continue to see more and more potential issuances coming through this particular asset class. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are working to implement our 2020-2024 strategic plan with 4 key pillars, which are sustainable business growth, operational excellence, strategic partnerships, and people, while technology and innovation will underpin all these pillars in our strategy. I would like to highlight some of the great successes we've had in the past and even in the current strategy. Like in 2019 October, when we fully launched our new trading platform, which was a major milestone that has ensured that we now have full all-time availability for trading, and very soon ability to do new opportunities around day trading, short selling, and security lending and borrowing, all targeted towards deepening our markets and improving liquidity. Like in 2019 October, when we fully launched our new trading platform, which was a major milestone that has ensured that we now have full all-time availability for trading, and very soon ability to do new opportunities around day trading, short selling, and security lending and borrowing, all targeted towards deepening our markets and improving liquidity. As I mentioned earlier, we are the second market in Africa to have launched a derivatives market, quite an innovation, which we believe will transform how investors can trade and also be able to de-risk their portfolios. I mentioned we launched a green bond, which was dual listed in Kenya and London, which was a milestone and really drives our new agenda around sustainable financing. And today, we are launching a mobile application that is extremely interactive, that will provide you with the ability to self-control all your investments right from the comfort of any device that you may have. As I conclude, I would also like to welcome you to join us every Tuesday at 11 a.m. for our Investing Tuesdays series, which aims at enhancing our market knowledge. The corona pandemic has pushed many of us to review how we run our businesses. We are now harnessing the power of our video conferencing connectivity, our social media platforms, and all other channels, remote channels, to enable us to deliver content to the public. We encourage you to look more for our information and also to access all our digital platforms for you to be able to really understand what we do and how we deliver it. Education for us will remain a very key part of our key imperatives, and we will offer you a wide depth of knowledge on financial markets and how to become a good trader and investor for yourselves. We will continue to stay abreast with technology in order to meet the demands of the market. And as we always say, NSC is where you really meet opportunity. And we've gone a step further now to say that you can also link capital to opportunity. We will ensure that we strive to protect your interests of all market holders and stakeholders as we all aim to create wealth for our fellow Kenyans. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and we really look forward to you on this particular day, and also what you can really learn and really becoming an investor and starting your journey towards wealth creation. Thank you, and I wish you a very successful day today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. It's amazing that we have quite a number of viewers already. I can see even questions already flowing in. Guys asking how they can even start investing. Yeah, just hold it a minute because we have an amazing panel discussion. Jeff is not yet done, and he will be there to as well answer any other questions, plus others that will be as well there, and I'll be introducing them to you in a short while. Right about now, we want to invite our other guest who is going to give some remarks, and this is the acting CEO, Capital Markets Authority, Mr. Wycliffe Shamia. Now, he is joining us live virtually, and so we're going to get in right there to his conversation. Mr. Wycliffe Shamia, karibu sana.
All protocols observed, good morning. I'm incredibly pleased to join you this morning to launch the twin milestones of an industry-wide chatbot, Telebot, one of the first of its kind among exchanges in Africa, and the Trading Tuesday stakeholder engagement. On behalf of Capital Markets Authority, allow me to register our appreciation to the stakeholder teams that have been working behind the scenes to ensure their successful launch takes place today, and for you who are there physically and virtually. We note with delight that many of our market intermediaries are also harnessing ICT to drive their business and significantly cut down on time spent in setting up an account and trading in securities in Kenya. This indeed is a highly welcome development that we are actively encouraging capital market stakeholders to embrace to not only remain relevant, but also improve their bottom line. Specifically, we have online trading platforms, mobile-based trading platforms, ATC. Ladies and gentlemen, we acknowledge that the world is now moving towards artificial intelligence, such as conversation-based platforms. These platforms, such as chatbots, have been seen to drive positive change in several business endeavors. The chatbots have various advantages, for example, ability to serve multiple customers at the same time, reducing operational costs and overall enhancement of efficiency. The chatbots offer information to allow customers make seamless purchases and other activities. We appreciate that in order to further enhance and support decision-making in securities trading, one requires some background, a conversation, or quick feedback to common challenges. The NSE chatbot can be viewed as providing a social element that could help fast-track decision-making in securities trading process. The NSE chatbot is therefore a timely complement to availing better speed and convenience in the securities trading experience. With this, therefore, I wish you the best as you witness the launch, and I wish NSE the best of luck and other market players as we go into this space. Thank you very much and have a very pleasant conversation this morning. Asante sana.
Bansri, over to you.
Yes, and Mina, just before you leave, what's the hashtag for today?
Absolutely. Investing goes digital. We are not laughing about it. That is hashtag number one. I'll be telling you about the other hashtag, Bansri.
The other hashtag is the chatbot.
The chatbot, absolutely. Yes. The chatbot, absolutely. We shall be screening them right away for you so that we can go ahead. Please come closer, Bansri, and tell us who are we going to hear next.
So great. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is our keynote speaker for today. And she not only makes me proud to be a lady in the corporate world, but her achievements and her ambitions make us proud to be associated with her. So please join me in welcoming Isis Nyong'o Medicine. And I know Isis wants the floor, but just before that, I'd like to give you a short background to who Isis is.
Please go ahead.
So Isis is an experienced operator. She is well networked in the telecommunications and in the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Africa. Maina, this is the group CEO of the Bliss Group. What does the Bliss Group do? It's Africa's leading mother and childcare digital platform. Great. She is also a director at the Nairobi Securities Exchange and at FinServe. I think I can go on and on about everything Isis has done. But at this point, I would like to warmly welcome Isis. Isis, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Bansuri, for that very warm welcome, and good midday, morning, everybody. I would like to first say that I think all Zoom protocols are observed, whatever they are today, and really want to thank both Mr. Odundo as well as Mr. Shamia for their remarks earlier. I'm really excited to be there. As Bansuri was mentioning, I'm an independent director of the NSC. I'm also an entrepreneur. And do a number of things, but I am really interested in this capacity in growing the number of really the retail investor base in the stock exchange in Kenya. I was fortunate at a young age to start investing very early. I happened to work at an online brokerage firm as my first job out of university. And that was a company that was innovating with the internet. It was new then, so was really innovating with the internet and doing online trading. And so that really enabled that company to grow their retail user base. And I think that's what's so exciting for us today. While the internet is not new, there's so much more that we can do with the technology that's out there to bring in a retail. I want to encourage more women. It's been interesting to see that there's actually is already a rise in the number of women investing. I think the latest report showed that 34% of the investors, the current active investors in the exchange here, are women, which is encouraging and definitely room to grow, and also to encourage young people to really start investing if they haven't already. The main barriers that I hear from both women and young people about investing is two main barriers. The first is that there is just confusion and lack of understanding of how the stock exchange works, really what the benefits are, how it adds to the other types of investments one might be doing or considering, and really what the benefits and the drawbacks and the risks are. The second barrier is just the ease of access. How can I just invest on my phone very quickly like I do everything else, right? Why does it have to be more complicated than that? So what I'm happy about is how the NSC is responding to this and why we're here today. And that first is really the launch of the Investor Tuesdays. I think investor education is so critical, and it's a lifelong thing. It's not like you're going to learn everything you need to do in one session or in 1 month, but it really is the beginning of helping people to become really interested in the companies that are available to invest in. And so that's why I'm really excited about the Investor Tuesdays, which will enable anybody from the public to really start to learn through these online webinars that are going to be facilitated in this way. And the second thing that has already been talked about earlier today is the launch of the Telebot, which really builds on the capabilities that NSC app that's there, makes it easier to use a more kind of natural language type of chat experience to check stock, not only stock prices, but to actually trade and use multiple brokers. So I'm really encouraged to see this new feature being added. And I'd actually just have one more thing to say is that I'm just really encouraged that the team at the NSC is really acting on this feedback from the market for the need for investor education to be easier, more accessible and online, and to make investing easier through the phone. So with that, I look forward to the continuing discussion and to see the demo of the Telebot. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Isis, for your wonderful remarks. And just in case you've just joined us one more time, today's an amazing day where we are launching the chatbot. And if you don't have the NSE app, we are encouraging you to download it so that at least you can have that experience once you get into the app. A very easy way to navigate through yourself, through going through the markets. And people complain sometimes that it can be a tedious job probably go to open accounts and all those kind of things. And right now, just at the click of your buttons, you're able to do this. So this is an amazing day, I believe, for anybody who has always said, I would want to be interested in these numbers. And as I said, we are many, so we don't want to feel as if we are just left alone on ourselves. Somebody said this, and this is a big man in the markets, Warren Buffett, and he said this, that, you know, people sometimes don't invest because of ignorance. And so you can't say you didn't know, because we have made it very easy for you to know. Right about now, we're going to now get an amazing panel here, some of the panelists here, some members here who are going to demonstrate to us what is this chatbot, what does it mean, and how do you go about it? Because I know sometimes you're asking, yes, you're launching, but can we see how this is going to help us out so that it is very easy for me? And I'll be following as well very keenly. And we have Rina Hicks, an amazing lady, and I'll be telling you more when we get to the panel. And Mr. Wagema, I say Mr. Wagema is the money man, because anytime I see him, I see a Makiba. He made me invest there, and by there I got some money some days back. So Mr. Wagema and Rina, please, you are welcome. Kindly come over.
Oh, hi everyone. All right, thank you, Maina, for that introduction. Of course, I believe you already got your Emma Kiva, and I'm here with Rina. What many people don't know is that we shot the first video online on Emma Kiva with Rina Hicks.
Yes, we did.
Yes, so thank you so much even for coming again and again. Yeah. And today we are yet again very much excited. So I think you did mention we'd go to Play Store.
Yes.
And then on Play Store, you can actually search for Chella Chat.
Chella Chat.
Yeah, so that is CHELLA and then CHAT.
Yes, it's a purple icon.
Yes.
Written, the big word there is Chella. You will see it. Then you click on open.
There we go.
When you click on open, it will ask for a login pin. So just, type in a login pin. And then you will get the option to choose from two brokers. We have AIB Capital and FIDA Investment Bank. So depending on where you have your account for now, you would click on either of those. When you click, let's start with FIDA. So when you click on FIDA, you get the option to set up your account. So before you set up, you will need your CDS account. So you will type in your CDS, and then it will give you an email. It will send you an email to your email address. So when you key in your email address, you check for your PIN that you will then generate to then be able to use the app. So click in check the email, get the PIN number, and then you'll come back. When you come back to your chatbot, you will see different options. Maybe you can read through them, Wagema.
Yes, so I can see on my screen, there's your portfolio, there's order request, modify order, cancel order, order status, your funds, mini statement, and closing price. And then it also allows you to change your PIN. So I think after this, I definitely need to change my PIN. And then, of course, it has a next button, which when you click next, it allows you to either do a fund transfer to check the market status or customer support. So maybe I don't mind recapping again, checking my portfolio. I think the key issues.
Okay.
So here, when you check your portfolio, it shows you how much you have. So you're able to see how much you have and even some of the securities that are there. So I can see I already have 100 of KPLC that I bought at 1 shilling and 80 cents. So it's very affordable. Like Jeff did mention, you can always start, especially from the shares. It allows you to start somewhere. Then I can place an order. It tells me to buy or sell. So when I choose to buy, I can choose, I can enter the first few digits. So I'll choose again KPLC. And then from there, it shows me the price. So it is retailing or selling at 1 shilling and 80 cents. So I'll click on KPLC. It will give me an option on how to, the lots that I can buy. So I can choose to buy 100. And when I choose 100, that is a quantity. It allows me either to place a price or choose at the market price. So this time I can choose to put a limit order. And from the limit order, it gives me the range. So between 1 shilling and 60 cents and 2 shillings. So I can choose to buy, say, at 1 shilling and 65. I really want to get it. So, and then it will give me a summary for me to confirm. Yeah. So once you've confirmed, you can actually click place order.
Just to mention, the range is because on any one trading day, you can only trade within a limit of 10%. So it can only go up 10% from the previous trading price or come down to a limit of a 10% lower than the previous trading price, and that's why there's that range. So as you place your order, your limit order means I want to buy it at this specific price, but that specific price needs to be within the 10% range.
Very true. So you can also choose to see your mini statement that gives you a summary of how much you've been transacting. And you can also go to next, like we did last time, and choose maybe if you want to be emailed. If you have any query, you can actually get in touch. So this chatbot is really facilitative and very useful. So I can say email my statement. All right, so there's a summary. We will be forwarding the following information to Faida Investment Bank. So I can see my name and I can choose to send the message. So it is so simple.
Yeah, very simple. And if you check your email, you will see an email from the chatbot, and asking from somebody from customer service, asking how they can assist you. Wow. So, it's amazing. The amount of things that you can actually do are so many, including if you've sold shares on the chatbot, you don't need to call your broker. All you need to do is click on request funds, and you can then transfer funds from your account to your M-Pesa or to your bank account, that in the way that it is set up in your account, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so make sure you download the Chat. You can easily get it on the Play Store right now, and in future we'll also have it on the App Store. So it is an exciting journey. So join us every Tuesday for Investing Tuesdays. Investing goes digital.
Yeah, I think that's the best launch of the day. The fact that every other Tuesday? Or
every alternating Tuesday.
Every alternating Tuesday. So next Tuesday we won't have one, but the Tuesday after that, there will be information. So especially for the 23-year-old who was asking, what are you doing about the young people? Every other Tuesday, you will be able to look at information and learn on what investment opportunities are available to you and how you can access them.
So make a date at 11 to noon, and then we shall be able to engage with you. So we are really super excited. It's a great thing to also start your investing journey. I like something that was said by the panel. COVID has helped us to reset. So are you going to reset your investment life? So this is a perfect opportunity. You can easily access the stock market. Looking forward to more interactions.
Thank you so much, Wagema.
Thanks a lot, Wagema and Rina, for that take round about how to just go through the chatbot. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Right about now, as I told you, Investing Tuesdays. We're going to launch it with an amazing panel that is already seated and ready to start answering your questions and whatever you have. We have a very amazing host as well, my co-host, seated right there waiting for you as well to ask questions and whatever that you may have. So right about now, I want to give my co-host to tell us what is in the kitchen as I head there as well.
Great. Right here, Maina.
Yes.
So as we move into the second part of this session, we're going to have a panel discussion themed starting your investment journey. So I know I'd like to start with an introduction of the panelists today, but in my view, these are seasoned advisors. These are decision makers in their own right, and they really need no introduction in this investment world. So also at this point, I'd like to encourage our audience to write down notes, engage us. I assure you, it's not every day that we get these champions in this industry to speak to us about their wisdom and their way of thinking. So as protocol dictates, I will start with a quick introduction. To my extreme right is Mr. Geoffrey Odundo, Chief Executive of the Nairobi Securities Exchange. The lovely lady sitting in the middle is Rina Hicks. She is the Operations Director at Faida Investment Bank and a gold sponsor. And finally, we have Mr. Paul Mwai. Mr. Paul Mwai is the CEO of AIB Axis Africa and a silver sponsor. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great. So, Maina.
Yes.
I don't know how you started your investment journey, but
Yes.
if there's anything this year has taught me,
Yeah.
it's better late than never.
You're right.
And for the audiences we have tuned in today,
Yeah.
I'd really like for our panelists to share how they started investing.
Yeah.
And I would like to start off with Jeff.
Yeah.
Yes, Jeff, the floor is yours.
Oh. Thank you, Bansri, and really congratulations on the launch of this particular platform and this webinar today, Investing Tuesdays. Well, for me, I think I started late because I started my investment journey in 1996 in the stock market. That was about 5 years after I had started working. No, 4 years down the road. Most of my money then was highly consumption. I never really understood the dynamics of early investing and the benefits. And that's why I say I'm very delighted that we are starting this education early to just help early employees, people who start their careers now, to also begin an investment journey. And my first talk that I bought was Kenya Airways back in 96 at 11 shillings and 50 cents. And I took a very big loan. I think it was about 100,000 shillings. But of course, it was an oversubscribed issue. So we all got some minimum allocation. I think it was about 8,000 shillings. And so, yeah, so I felt like a kick. Every time I see a plane flying out of the sky, I say, that's my plane. And it's going to land and going to get me money. And it was such an exciting time. But one thing I didn't know is that I thought when you buy shares, they continue rising. And really, the story has been sold, so probably you're buying at the bottom. But just to have it, I mean, in a month or two, it started going down. And I became what you call a panic seller. And I exited at 8 shillings. So I made a loss. I was very crushed with that. And I felt, this was not really my lifestyle. So I should have changed a different direction. But as I grew older, I then started really understanding the market a bit more better. And around the age of about 25 to 30, now we started getting, I mean, when I was heading to 30, that's when I got more interested in the market. And I can tell you, without disclosing too much, that the market has made me money in the past. And I really appreciate, just look at KQ for example. From 11 shillings, it lagged for a while, but it went all the way to 100 plus. And so investors who took that decision made some money. So what am I saying? I think for anybody who starts a career today, the famous saying that let's diversify your portfolio, don't put all your eggs in one basket, all this makes sense. Start investing slowly. It's always easy to start with stocks. One, they're more affordable at lower level, they're easier to access, they're easier to liquidate. And what happens when you start investing in stocks? You start understanding financial matters. You start understanding how to read a balance sheet, how to read a profit and loss account, how to understand cash flows. So anybody, even if you're in a very different field, be it nursing, be it a teacher, be it a businessman, those basic knowledge about a company's financials become relevant. And by you start building that understanding. So that's what we're encouraging. I think it's good, especially for the youth, and I saw ISIS talk about women, that it's time to really start investing. It's Warren Buffett who said that he started investing at the age of 11. But his biggest regret is that he started late.
Yes.
So, so who are we today now who 30 years down the road, we're still wondering what the stock market is. Yes. It is a very simple market. Yes. I think I was asked to speak to the youth and maybe relate to them in the language they understand. Vile nasema. Hii soko ni yetu.
Go ahead.
Kuingia soko si ngumu, ni rahisi. Vile tunavyonunua vitu, bidhaa na vitu kama hizo. Kuingia kwa soko ni kitu rahisi sana. Fungua account ya CDS, unatuma tu kipande ID namba yako na uweze kufungua hiyo account kwa broker wowote na unaendelea kufanya transactions zako. Lakini vijana tuache kusema sisi tutakuwa vijana milele, tungoje sisi wakati wetu tunakuja kesho. Wakati ni sasa, na si kama sasa ni sasa hivi. Kwa hivyo tuanze kwa hii jani ya kununua soko za hisa ni kitu rahisi sana, na tuendelee tujitegemee na tujitengezee mali, sio? Very good, thank you.
Wow. I think you deserve a round of applause on that. Sorry.
Yes.
What you, Bansri? I think we want to also understand, Rina, when did you start your investment journey and how was it?
So I thought I started early. I really did. I thought I started early, but according to Jeff's statements, I started late. I was in my early 20s. In my first job, I worked in a company that's in the technology space, and we were going to make a pitch. I was going with my boss at the time. So we go into this reception, and this gentleman walks in. He wasn't the man we were going to see, but this gentleman walks in, my boss stands up, and they give each other high fives. Hey, how you doing, man? How's it going? And they start conversing about this article in the paper on that day. Mama, wow, did you see this paper? The article about ABL and SAB Miller, oh my gosh, something about share swaps, and it was all Greek for me. And I was like, okay, this must be something that I need to listen to. So I took out my notebook and I wrote down SAB Miller, ABL, stocks. You should buy. Bana, I'm calling my broker just now, I'm going to buy. I overheard this conversation. None of them worked for ABL at the time, both in advertising and e-commerce. And I remember immediately we got back to the office, I got myself a newspaper, I read it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it is for real. There's this share swap, I have no idea what it is, but I know that between Tanzania and Kenya, there's exchange of shares, and ABL is going to do well, so I better buy shares. Lunchtime, I took a mat to town, and went to a brokerage, opened my account, and started my investment journey that day. In a few months, I had doubled my money. But what's interesting is the brokerage I'm talking about was owned and run by my father. And so I was like, excuse me, why didn't you tell me to buy EABL shares? So it's interesting that you can have all this information before your eyes every single day of your life.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's human nature. We just delay, we procrastinate, we have other things that consume our lives and don't take advantage of stuff that's really right before us. So that's really been my journey. I started then. I know I've made many mistakes. I've made investments in people's businesses, lost money, but all through that journey, learned a lot and gained significant experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yes.
I don't know whether Bunce, you want me to introduce the. I call him the big man because when you hear the brokerage firms, he's a big stakeholder there.
He's a big stakeholder. Yes.
So do you want to tell us your investment journey?
Thank you, Maina. And I'm not sure mine is as exciting as Jeff's and Nina's, but very much like Jeff, I think I did start quite late. I started working for Barclays in 1991. Fortunately for me, when I studied in university, and even my first job on Barclays, was an investment job. I worked then for Barclays Trust Investment Services. So I was investing other people's money before I was investing mine. So, I think towards 1998 is when there was an IPO for a company called Africa Lakes, which was part of Africa Online, which was cross-listed between Kenya and London. And it was being IPO'd in Kenya, and it was also trading in London at the same time. And there was a significant price differential between the IPO price and the trading price in London, which presented almost a very easy arbitrage gap. So I saw the opportunity, and I perhaps did my first investment sometime in 1998. That was actually 6 years from when I started working. So again, I was also late. I've been a constant investor in the stock market, now being part of a brokerage firm, so I have the opportunity to look and invest every day of my life. And I would like just to encourage people that despite what you see and the bad news that you hear sometimes in the press, there are really good stories in the stock market of people who have really made good money. People who have stayed focused, have followed the fundamentals, and have looked long-term on investment. There are really good opportunities to make money in the stock market.
Excellent.
Wow.
Excellent.
I think that's an amazing one. Jeff, I would like to now pick up from where you stopped at. I know you tried to explain to us, Sisi wa Inanchi, in a language that we can understand.
Yeah.
But I just want you to demystify this. Anytime we see markets, especially on TV, those guys, first of all, they're serious, and then you see big numbers happening, just flowing, like we're seeing right here at the back, very nice numbers here. And so it looks like it's an elitist thing, nikitu ya watu fulani, that's the language that you call it. What would you tell those people who think this is not their place?
Okay. Thank you, Maina. So, I think for a long time, we have never really demystified the exchange to a level that the normal Mwananchi can understand. But I'm not totally sure the normal Mwananchi doesn't understand. If you go to the AGMs, annual general meetings today, majority of shareholders who come for those meetings are people from the rural areas. And they come and they carry their accounts, they even ask questions. So let me first of all just put it to Kenyans that the market is not a market for knowledgeable people. It's a market for those people who, just out of interest, you must have an interest. Kenyans are very, first of all, let me say, technologically knowledgeable.
Yeah.
If you are able to send and use money and M-Pesa and all these kind of things, you basically have a basic knowledge of how a technology platform works.
Okay.
Now, that is a lot more complex than stock market. Stock market is like going to a market. Ni kama kuenda soko.
Yeah.
So hii soko kunauzwa nyanya, kunauzwa kitunguu, kunauzwa I'm not so good with vegetables. Lakini zozote. Now,
Pilipili hoho. It's
Pilipili
okay.
hoho.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wale watu wanauza hao ni brokers. Hao ndio wameleta kutoka mashamba, wameuziwa na wholesaler wenye hizo bidhaa kutoka mashambani, wanauzia watu kwa soko, wale watu wanafanya kwa soko, and then you are the customer. So they do what you call trading, wana transfer.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So that's how it works. And then the market is the NSE. Hiyo soko kama wakulima market ndio NSE yenyewe. Unaelewa?
Yeah.
So it's a very not a very complex thing.
Yeah.
And how you buy a share, you just go to your broker, you tell them I want to buy Safaricom or whatever with the stock, and then you just fill a form and fill an order, and they go and they buy for you. So it's a very easy market. You give them cash, they give you shares. Shares are put in your deposit account electronically.
Okay.
Now we have made it very simple. Just the way you transfer money on your M-Pesa platform or Airtel platform, you're able now to buy shares on your platform in what we're calling today the chatbot.
Okay.
Simple. I think the future we're going to even try and make it in Swahili to make it very simple. Lakini, there is nobody who can say that they don't know how to use a mobile device, because we are Kenyans, we have the best penetration of mobile device in the world.
Sure.
We can afford to really explain. So it's not a market for the chosen few.
Yeah.
It's a market for everybody.
Yeah.
Today, about 12% of our turnover is retail, and I think that can grow. And mine is just to encourage Kenyans, just let's get an interest. You start from there. And an investment journey, you don't need to accumulate millions or hundreds or thousands of cash. For as low as 200, 300 shillings today, you can buy 100 shares of a company. Start there. Day by day, it is the discipline that counts. It's not the accumulating and then acquiring. It's the discipline that counts, especially the youth. I was in China last year. There's an exchange there with over 300 million investors.
My goodness.
And they're all young people. But every day, every Chinese believes he's a Warren Buffett. So they trade for themselves.
Wow.
I think Kenyans, we can also become the leading market in Africa for the youth and women. So let's start that journey. It's not difficult, it's simple, and we'll continue making it easier.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, great. Mina, Jeff just said something that immediately I picked on.
Yeah.
Most of the investors that come to our AGMs are from the rural areas.
Yeah.
And that speaks to what my grandfather normally tells me.
Uh-huh.
There is a vision, there is a long-term vision that group, that particular generation had.
Yeah.
They invest in patient capital. And I think that is what our generation, assuming we are both in the same generation,
Very
I want to get into that. I think that is the shift we need to start having.
Yes.
Jeff also talked about getting a loan to invest.
Yeah.
I know my baby brother
Yeah.
wanted a loan from me to buy his next iPhone 10. I think we need to have a conversation after this panel discussion here.
Absolutely. And I absolutely agree with you, and that's why we now have the Investing Tuesdays, where whatever questions you may have, you can ask. Swali lolote lile, you know, I think we'll be trying to demystify and break it down in an easy way, how you can start. And I think I love the fact that, you know, he started small, and now you see where he is. He didn't tell us big time, but you see where he is, you know? Yeah. So, but do you want to bring in the lady in the house as well?
Yes, yes, absolutely, Rina. So Rina, I don't know if it's a lady thing, but me being a lady, I'm generally a bit risk averse when it comes to investments. I need to have all the information, I need to crunch the numbers, and I need to know that there's some sort of security that I'm going to get a return on this investment. And what we've seen in the general past, let me compare myself to Mina. Mina is going to put aside some money at the end of the month. He's going to look at the stock market. He's going to say, okay, this counter is doing well, this counter has potential, and quickly put in his money. So clearly there is a little bit of gender disparity when it comes to investing. So over the past couple of weeks, we've seen the curve shift slightly positively towards the ladies. And we have about 34% of the investor group at the exchange comprising ladies. So Rina, in your view, what has caused this change in demographics, and why would you encourage ladies to look at the exchange as their go-to investment option?
Okay.
Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Bansri. So I think the first part you mentioned, the fact that is it a ladies thing that, you know, we tend to be more risk averse. It is. I mean, when you look at even just job applications, I remember speaking to a director of one of the top banks in Kenya, and he said that, let me tell you, when men look at a job application, if they have 30% of the qualification list, they apply.
Yes.
A woman needs to have like 90% for her to think about putting a job application. And that translates to a lot of different areas of our lives. And so even with investing, ladies sort of feel like, I think I need an expert. You know, I don't know enough to be able to invest. I want to be able to know enough to cover all my risks before I can put in money. And even when you look at investment managers who are women, they seem to be unsure of themselves even as they're making decisions. But what's interesting, research has actually shown, I looked at some research that was done in 2007 and 2008 during the economic crisis. And it was done by a German bank. And they looked at 500,000 portfolios managed globally. Out of all, about 500,000 of those portfolios that were managed, the ones that were managed by women did 4 to 6% better in returns than those that were managed by men. And it was very evident in that research that while women are more unsure of themselves, they actually make better investment decisions. So I think what I'm trying to say here is to encourage women, first of all. Yes, you might be more unsure. And imagine there's actually something positive about that, because you do a little more research, you tend to take your time, you don't rush into things as fast, and your investment decisions end up being better. Why has there been growth to 34%? So first of all, it's positive growth, which is fantastic. But I think generally over the years, there's been a lot more information available to people. And a lot more women are working and being able to make money that they can now put aside. So they have more options where they can put their money and invest. And it's not just the stock market, it's generally. I think so my advice would be that just know that you have an inherent ability to make good investment decisions. Investments in others, investments in opportunities to grow your wealth, I think is what I would say. In addition to that is to don't limit yourself, don't be afraid, just find out as much information you need. But you don't have to know everything, and you'll never know everything. It's okay to take a little bit of risk and put your money. And right now, today, at the palm of your hand, you have so much information available to you. You know, we have apps, all of us as brokers in Kenya, including the NSE, with information on what is trading, how did it do in the last 5 years, what should I be investing in. Look at what analysts are talking about. There's available information for free on what you can invest in. And take advantage of that information. In fact, even pick up the call. You'll be able to talk to analysts and find out information if you're a little more risk averse, and you'll be able to have as much information as you need to go ahead and to invest. So the fact that you're a woman is an advantage. So take advantage of that ability, that sixth sense that you have, and the desire to know more to invest, but don't stop investing because you feel you don't have enough information.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well,
like that.
I don't know whether I have a question for the men, but I think I think the men are already represented a little bit more, and in terms of that research that you gave in terms of being risk averse and people who take risks as well. Rina, I know before Bansri brings in Paul, I just want to ask you this question based on the fact that I am an avid follower of you. You've written a book about being money wise and all that.
Yeah.
You know, I would want you to just touch a little bit on just that mindset, you know, just the mindset. What is this mindset that we need to have? Because as you say, there's still challenges of the fact that we don't have big numbers of people who are thinking, I need to think about investing.
Yeah.
What do we need to do? What is this gem you need to inject right now so that people can buy their post and say, you know what, I need to think about it? Yeah.
I think the first thing is people feel like they need to get to a certain number of wealth to start investing. It's actually very interesting. You start investing when you have 300 shillings, 100 bob.
Okay.
That's the point to start. A lot of people say, I don't have enough to start to invest. That mindset is what needs to change. The question you need to ask yourself is, what do I want in my life? What kind of life do I want to live? What are the expenses I must be able to have or to make right now? I mean, I have children I need to feed. I have a house I need to pay rent. I have medical expenses I need to pay for my parents, or different expenses I have, that if I don't have an income right now, what am I going to do? I remember listening to a gentleman, actually it was an article I was reading, his name is Ben Mandi, and he put this so well. He said, we live for about 4,680 weeks.
Yeah.
Out of those 4,680 weeks, 70% of that time is spent sleeping, eating, growing up, and going to school. You have 30% of those weeks to finance all of the 70. How do you do that?
Wow.
I mean, how can you go to work and put money in the bank account and then go and expect that that money will feed you during your years of retirement? It will never work, irrespective of how much you earn. Whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a janitor, whatever, a teacher, you can never ever rely on your salary and expect to retire comfortably. So the first thing is to understand and accept that the money you earn now will never be enough. So what do you need to do? You need to put away some money that can work alongside you, compounding as you continue to work, so that at the time that you now need it the most, when you're retiring and have no income, there's an income coming from investments that you have made. Everybody, from a cleaner to a teacher, a doctor, whatever career you have, irrespective of how much you earn today, it doesn't matter. Wealth creation is not about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep. It's about time. And in starting today so that you don't waste time. And that when you give it time, you manage it well and you consistently invest. Compounding does magic. So people should stop thinking that I don't have enough. I only earn 500 bob a day. My last story. There's a gentleman called Sylvester Kibe. Some years ago, I watched his interview on K24, and you can see it's on YouTube. This guy is called Kibe Wamei. He used to, what is it called? Choma maize. Choma maize and polish shoes from 4 a.m. until rush hour is over. He used to save 200 shillings a day. How much? 200. 200 bob. This gentleman would go early in the morning, he's first polishing shoes, then he changes to fanning maize. He saved 200 shillings a day for 14 years and put a deposit to buy a matatu.
Wow.
After 14 years, he bought a matatu, minibus van. He employed a driver and a conductor, and that money, he now receives an income, has been able to pay the loan for the minibus, and now that minibus gives him an income. But he continues to polish shoes and fan maize. Surely, if Kibewa Mei can have passive income, surely. You who is working at NCBA or Kenya Power or wherever it is, you should be able to have investments that can finance your future.
Absolutely. My goodness. That's such an inspiration. You know, you've said many things, and because we can't repeat them right now, I think if you missed anything, you can, it's going to be recorded. I mean, it's going to still be up on the stream, so you can still go back and relook, so that you can get to learn a lot of things there. The most touching thing for me is that you don't have to have a lot of money, 100, 200, and sad to say, there's some people who are watching me, munajua watu wa kubet nyinyi, you know, because they do a lot with more than that cash. So you can do a lot with such small money. Bansri, over to you now.
Yes, fine. I'm already starting to feel the heat of this discussion. Thanks, Rina. And this is exactly where we wanted it to go. So, Paul, I just want to pick up from something Rina mentioned, information, the availability of information that has really propelled women investing in these capital markets. What I've experienced is, in the few years that I've invested, is you can have all the information, but it can still go either way. There's always a risk when an investment is involved. I know you mentioned you started your journey in 1998. So if I calculate backwards, you've had about 22 years investing. Paul, tell us some of the lessons you've learned, and what would you advise a young Paul that wants to start his investment journey today?
Okay. Thank you, Bansri. Actually, I didn't start in 98 because I was investing for other people before that. So I was active in the stock market almost from when I started working in 1991. So I have close to 30 years experience of investing in the stock market. So a couple of things that have come out, if I was 25 years today and I look back and see what are the lessons that I think the one and the clear obvious one is to start early. And I think Rina and Jeff have all touched on this. You need to invest time as well as money. And the one thing that you have in plenty when you're young is time. So you need to use that time. If you waste that time, sometimes if you start when you're 50, you will not enjoy the benefit. In fact, I can call it the magic of compounding. It really makes a very big difference. So first of all, start early. The other thing that we also need to realize, and going back to my years from the 90s to the 2000s and the from 2010 to 2020, you know, investments come in fads. So in the 90s, investing in treasury bill was the most fashionable thing. Investing in treasury bills used to give you a return of up to 93%. Did you know that? And it was the fad. It made good returns.
Yes.
Wow.
Then we came to the fad of the stock market. When we had the Kengen, the Safaricom, the Kenya Re IPOs from 2002, and everybody wanted to be invested in the stock market. And we had a really good run in the stock market. I think the next decade was the decade of Broti. Maguta Maguta. So everybody went to invest in land, property, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the next phase will be, but I think there are lessons that come out of that.
Yeah.
One is you know, for example, investing in land has taught us that you need to think about the liquidity of your asset.
Yeah.
Right now, when we went through the challenges of COVID, you are looking at, I'm a little short of cash, I need to look for an asset to sell.
Yeah.
Those who are investors who have tied up their money in a plot don't have that flexibility to sell and realize as quickly as possible. If you are invested in the stock market, as opposed to that, then selling is about 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
So that's perhaps one of the lessons that you learn. The other lesson that perhaps I'd like to share is that investing in the stock market is systemic. So you got cycles. You go up, you come down, you go up, you come down. And this has been repeated time and time again. There's a term that was coined by Alan Greenspan, who was once the Federal Reserve, which is called irrational exuberance. That means the share prices were going up in an irrational way. People were so excited about the stock market. This was around the dot-com bubble. They were so excited that they pushed prices way beyond their level. And I think there is also the equal opposite of that, which is irrational pessimism.
Yeah.
Sometimes we push prices way below their fundamental value. And I think right now with the COVID situation, we have quite a number of shares which I believe have been pushed to that level. Yes, the COVID situation will affect our economy, will affect a number of shares, but it won't affect them all in the same way. There are some that will be less affected. So I think there's an opportunity for you then to look at which are the shares right now that have been unfairly punished by the irrational pessimism.
Yeah.
And is this the right time to pick up? So look for those cycles, use those cycles, one, to buy when you get that irrational pessimism.
Yeah.
And when you buy the shares, you should always be on the lookout. Yeah. So don't say that you've bought it has good fundamentals and forget about it.
Okay.
You need to follow that share. So if there's any article on a share that you are invested in, you should always be looking to read and keep up breasted on what is happening with that share. And therefore, always look to sell into strength. So strength in the market. So when you get that share price going up significantly, it's always the point where you must ask yourself, I need to start selling.
Yeah.
Don't wait until you whatever, or don't wait to get into a share when it's already gone up 200% and you're saying, whoa, you'll have getting in at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are some. The last one, which is also related, is diversification. So I would say, don't put your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
For an individual, I would say maybe between 5 and 6 shares, because you need to follow them. If you have 20 shares, you're not going to be able to follow them. You're not going to be able to know what's going on in the market.
Yeah.
But you're diversifying because maybe one of these might not perform as well as I expect, but the rest will perform well. The other thing is stick to fundamentals. Always think about the fundamentals of the shares. Think about what product it's producing, where the market is going. And also, brokers produce research. Please read that research, because you have a job somewhere else. This person's job from morning to evening is to research this share. How do you expect to know more than him about that share? It doesn't really make sense. So when he writes a report, please take time and read and see, because they go through a very thorough process. And they also talk to the management of that company. So let's respect research, let's look at research, and let's give it the value so that you're buying shares with strong fundamentals, which give you good opportunities for growth. Thank you.
Wow, thanks so much, Paul. I felt like I should have carried my big notebook. But I'll go and do that later on. You know, we don't have a lot of time today because this was just a launch, but it's so heavy already and there's a lot of content coming in and questions as well. And I want to open that session up and also to a lot of viewers that right now you can post whatever question that you have. And remember as well, it's never too late to share this on your Facebook, or if you're watching on YouTube or streaming, whichever platform that you're in, just click that platform so that at least a friend of yours can get to know that it is never too hard to start thinking about investing and get into the trade market. Now, Jeff, there's a question, I think this is well choreographed for you by a lady by the name Diana Achien. And this is what she asks. Do you teach people who want to know how to trade? I would want you to answer that in about 45 seconds.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yes.
Certainly. We do teach. And we run, we have got a platform we call the NSE Academy that you can also join through our app, and you're able to see the courses that we are now offering online. But of course, we'll have dedicated programs like this one, where every Tuesday you'll be getting a topical discussion from one of our topic experts. But if you really want to know more about the market, enroll onto our NSE education portal, and you'll be able to really see the online courses that happen, I think, every Friday. So that's currently ongoing.
Great.
Wow, that's a good one. I think Bansri has the other question as well.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Maina. So I would like to pose this question to Rina. So Rina, this question is from a lady called Duba Lydia.
Okay.
So she's asking us, is investment continuous? If I make a stock purchase, let's say today, worth 1,000 shillings, will I have to do the same the next month?
Okay. Well, you don't have to do anything, but it's with stocks. I think one of the things that is advisable to do is to buy shares continuously, especially if you have found a company that is worth investing in. It's in, you know, just what Paul was saying. It's a company that sells a product that is good, is needed, doesn't have a close substitute. It is managed well. The price is right based on the research that has been done. You've read research and you find that this is a company I want to buy. And if you have 1,000 shillings and you buy, 1,000 shillings is nowhere near enough to forget about it and to move on. And because we're encouraging continually saving and investing, it's always good to continue to put money every so often. If it's every month you can, then great. And there's something that we call, I don't like to use this term, but it's generally called dollar cost averaging. Because what happens with a stock market, for example, you never know when it is at the lowest possible price. But when you buy slowly, as opposed to all the shares all at once, you are able to take advantage of getting lower prices each time. And so timing the market is very difficult. So when you buy slowly over time, one, you're able to accumulate more shares, get more in your portfolio, so that when dividends are paid, you get a good sizable dividend. So you grow your portfolio, but at the same time, you also get the advantage of investing slowly over time, which gives you the opportunity to buy shares lower. So for example, right now we're moving into an election season. So next year there'll be a lot of politicking, and after that we go into elections. And we tend to find during election years, the stock market tends to go down. And so this is a good time to start buying slowly over time, so that even during that time you get the opportunity to have gotten prices at a low price now during COVID season. And as we carry on even during the political season, if you can buy good stocks that are run well in an industry that is growing, then you benefit from buying slowly over time.
Great.
Okay, I have a friend, I don't want to call, he said I keep his name closed because he can see me, so he has just asked this question. Atibwana Paul is telling us to diversify from Buroti, Maguta, and many others. So Paul, I think the question he's asking is, the patience what manner of patience do I need? I think, if I may paraphrase, because I can see what he's asking, I think there's a lot of more patience needed when you come into the markets than probably in the Buroti, Maguta. What do you have to say?
Yes, thank you, Maina. Yes. And let me just emphasize that ideally stock market investments are long-term investments.
Yeah.
So you need to have a long-term view in terms of where you are investing. But you have the advantage that when you invest in the stock market, even though your intention is long-term, sometimes the realization can come over the short term,
Okay.
and you can still realize and sell. There's nothing that stops you from doing that.
Okay.
With a plot, unfortunately, and I have also been part of the investment in plots fund.
Yeah.
I know that I was calculating my value at one point at 3 times what I bought the plot at,
Yeah.
but I couldn't realize that three times the value. It felt nice, you know, saying I'm now worth this much, and that much.
Yeah.
But now when I try to sell it, I'm not able to sell it. So the kind of patience you need on the plot is the same as the one you need on the stock market.
Okay. Okay.
The only advantage here is that you have the advantage of liquidity.
Yeah.
When we value shares, we actually give a premium to liquidity.
Yeah.
So shares that are liquid actually should be valued higher than those that you cannot sell. So
Yeah.
there's a pricing to that.
Absolutely.
So liquidity is
Yeah, liquidity.
liquidity. Sorry, am I using jargon? Liquidity is the ability to convert it to cash without the loss of value.
Oh.
So there's another arm to that. You could convert it to cash very quickly, but if you convert it at a discount, then it's not liquid. Thank you.
Okay. There's a very technical question, and I think that should be directed to Jeff. But you will ask that question. But I think from what Paul is saying, it's about, and I think my money man, the guy I introduced is called Wagema, you know, told me that even in the NSE, it's not just about shares. There are many other things that you can diversify yourself in. And I want to thank him in absentia, he's not here, because when he pushed me to buy that Makiba, you know, just the other day, some few weeks back, some SMSs popped in and I was happy, you know, that was a good thing that he did. Basti, do you want to throw that big question?
I do, Maina. I know we've really run out of time.
Yes.
And before we leave, I know this question is important, but I think we can take it up after. I just wanted the panelists to give us one parting shot on investing. We've really overrun the time, Maina.
Yeah.
And I will take this up with Jeff immediately after this, but I want him to give us one parting shot on investing.
Okay.
Followed by Rina and Paul Mwai.
Jeff, over to you.
I think for me, to the youth and to the Kenyans in general, is that investing in the stock market gives you the true measure of wealth. As Paul has said, you could buy all the plots and all the land, but you cannot realize it as easier. And that's why real wealth is not measured by issues around land and plots, but is measured really by the value of stocks that you have. If you look at all the rich people in the world today, they are ranked on the basis of what can be measured in real terms, and that's really the stock market or the bond market or whichever opportunity you see. So to all of you, I think it's a great opportunity. Kujeni kwa soko, tuko na bidhaa mingi, and we can really help you to convert and really begin a journey to making wealth. It starts with the first step, and it's, as all the panelists have said, it's not very expensive to start. It's one step at a time, and you really go a long way to enjoy what they call the compounding effect. Thank you very much.
Wow. Rina?
Wow, there's so many things I could say, but I think the one thing I would say is to encourage you wherever it is that you are. I think the first place to start is to think about what are your goals, what do you want to be able to achieve. Once you have that before you, then you will get the psyche to withhold from spending too much now. And it doesn't matter how much you earn. Even if you earn 10,000 or 20,000, the important thing is how much do you keep, and consistently doing so over time. And don't invest in something because your cousin, your brother, your sister, your mother, your friends are investing in it. Take time to understand what it is that you're investing in, understand why you want to own it or why you own it, and what purpose does it serve. Because when you do that, then you're able to take investment decisions based on your circumstances and your understanding of how it then impacts your situation. Also, don't try and time the market, because timing the market is a very, very difficult thing. If you can do it slowly over time, you will succeed. So don't worry about how much it is that you earn. Take the time and just make a decision today to start and find all the information that you can. We have experts all over this town and this country who are available to assist you in your investment journey.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Paul?
Yes, thank you, Maina, thank you, Bansri. First of all, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the NSE and Gelasoft for the launch of the chatbot, and just to say how we as AIB Access are proud to be associated with this new innovation. For me, I'd like to laud the technology space. Technology has made a very big difference to investment in Kenya. And I'd like to encourage the youth to embrace the technology that is out there to enable them to gain access to the stock market. Today, gaining access to the stock market is a lot easier than it was before. Wherever you are in Kenya, you can gain access, you can invest. Take this opportunity. Let's get invested. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need to travel to Nairobi. You don't need all those complicated things that we had in the past. Let's get invested and let's make money. And finally, I'd like to say that you don't invest because you have wealth. You get wealth because you invest. So let's start investing.
That's the one we take a moment. It's called Seller. You know, we think into it.
Yes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Paul, for the parting shots. But before we leave, I think it would be unfair. There's a young person here, 23 years old, who has said this. And Jeff, I think this is to you. I am 23 years old. I have been learning about the stock market and investments. That's good, by the way. He's been learning, is it? And for the last year or so, but I have found that not many people my age are into investments and stocks. How can the NSE and its partners encourage more young people to learn about investments? And I know Investment Tuesday is part of it. That's why we have launched this. But Jeff, in 30 seconds, what can you say?
I think we are very conscious about the youth, and especially the ones who are coming now into the job world.
Yeah.
It's important for them to really begin to do a difference in their lives. What I want to say is that COVID has totally given us a reset of our lives. So I know if there were before we used to spend on other activities, all of a sudden we realized we can save that money and put it elsewhere. So let's take advantage of really coming out of this COVID stronger, reset ourselves, learn a lot. As you heard from Paul and I, we started around 25. You could start a lot earlier than we did. And it's a step-by-step journey. But use the platforms, spend a reasonable amount of your time on your social media space to really learn new things, and not necessarily to follow on a bit more of the exciting things you used to do before. Investing can be a very exciting place to be in, especially if you track markets, you're able to see what's happening today, you read the news, etc. So it's all about an interest. So let's take the COVID reset opportunity as a beginning, as a new beginning of lifestyles, and let's make investing really a lifestyle for ourselves. That's what I'd encourage you.
Great.
Battery?
Maina,
Yes.
we had so many more questions.
Absolutely.
And this conversation is just starting to get interesting.
Yeah.
But because I don't want to stop on the momentum, I know we have many more Tuesdays to catch up. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank all the panelists.
Yeah.
They've all brought in different angles and different views to this whole topic about investing.
Yeah.
But I think one of my major takeaways, and to the audience as well, is it's never too late.
Yes.
Start with as little as you have and start today.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Yes.
And of course, I hope all of you who are checking this out, don't just check it out, try it out, download, check it out, see whether you have any other questions, send them to us and we'll be able to answer that. Right about now, I want to introduce Maureen. Maureen has been at the back of making sure this is a success. And so Maureen is going to probably thank us up and probably appreciate the people who have made this happen. Maureen, over to you.
Thank you, Maina. Good afternoon to you all. In the words of Saint Ambrose, no duty is more urgent than returning thanks. And therefore, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our chief guest, our director, Isis Nyong'o Madison, for honoring our invitation and sharing the keynote speech, the acting chief executive officer of Capital Markets Authority for their continued support and partnership throughout this initiative, our panelists, Mr. Geoffrey Odundo, Mr. Paul Mwai, and Madam Rina Hicks for taking their time to share their key insights of investing. And we'd also like to share our gratitude to our board, to those in diaspora, and the investors at large who are joining us virtually. And lastly, we cannot forget the crew behind the scenes who have made this event possible and a success, as well as our moderators, Madam Bansri Patni and Mr. Maina Chege, for their fantastic job. Thank you all, God bless you, and have a great afternoon.
All right, thanks a lot, Madam Maureen. I know we are clapping here, so I think we should just do it practically. Yeah, behind the scenes, somebody has been spending sleepless nights to ensure this is happening. And of course, not to forget the money man, Mr. Wagema, from wherever you are, receive our thanks. That's it for today, just for today, because I'm saying that for today because there's a lot of things that are about to happen. But I'm sure we have more to happen on the Tuesdays that are coming up, is it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Maina. And
yes.
we will be sharing the subject of the conversation with time. Yes.
So if you're not following us on the social media platforms, make sure you do. Tell your friend, tell your mother, tell your daddy, tell everybody else who needs to invest to avoid doing the buroti maguta only, because there's a lot of things that you can do by yourself. So it's an end for now. Oh my goodness, Paul made me remember that thing. So it's an end for now. It's for now. I like using the word for now because this is a continuous conversation that is ongoing.
Yes.
And just to encourage you, send the questions, do whatever you may want, start investing, and as Bansri said, start today. Is it?
Absolutely.
Maybe we should even ongeza a word like start now, you know? Yeah, so do that now. Bye-bye for now. See you next Tuesday.
Yes.